sister Sue, JC's fiance. And we all know that JC went home to be with the Lord. And I was talking with her by phone, and she was telling me about the last day with him. And she had mentioned that, you know, because my wife and I were there maybe 3 or 4 days prior to his going home to be with the Lord, and he was concerned about the process of hospice. So I was there kind of encouraging him, and we had prayer with that brother, and to see him in such a depleted state, lifting his hands and giving God the praise, was just unbelievable to see. But anyhow, following that, his condition got to the point where he was suffering. And when Sue reached out to hospice, something happened with their computer system. And I think it was a storm or something, they had a power outage. And so there was a delay in hospice coming. So by the time the rep got there and walked in the door, Sue was somewhat concerned and frantic, saying, listen, do you have the meds he's suffering? You know, and this is the man she loves. We've all accepted that he's going to be with the Lord, but still in all, we can all relate to why she would be concerned. And the woman who came through the door said these words, are you a believer? And she said, yes, I am. Her next words were, then who's in control?
Hallelujah.
And that is our theme for today. How many of us are believers? Oh, I see everybody's hand going up. So the question is then, who's in control? Hallelujah. And some of us are in some situations right now where we're not in control. Yet we are allowing the anxiety and the concerns of the situation to consume us. And if you are a believer in Jesus Christ, you need to know who's in control. When we're not in control, that's when he's in control. And then what happens now is when we get anxious, we tend to step in his way and take control. Then we fall under the guidelines of his control, which is judgment. Amen. We want to walk in blessings, right? So we have to be careful because God has got it under control. I don't know who this is for today, but some of us in here, we are holding on to certain things, and God is saying, you can't do nothing about it anyhow. Why don't you just give it over to me? Hallelujah. We are living at a time, and I marvel at times, Brother Kenny, that I am alive in 2017. Sometimes my wife would be watching movies from the first century, you know, and see the barbaric ways they had back then. I said, Lord, I thank you. I'm not alive to live back then. But to be alive today as a Christian, we better know who's in control. Hallelujah. What you see on CNN and Fox is not what's in control. God has got everything. Right in the palm of his hand. Amen. Oh, hallelujah. So what we're going to do is, I pray the Lord help me with this today because I've had a serious week, so. But he's good. Amen. Amen. There are 4 levels of control we're going to look at today, okay? One is heaven itself, or the throne of God. The second one is the earth. The next one is the will of man. And then the third is the spirit world. These are 4 areas of control, or where they're trying to seek control of. Hallelujah. Now, the ultimate control over all things has been given to Jesus Christ. Why? Because where he's at, we know where he's at, right? He's at the right hand of God. He has all power and authority. You heard me say that in the prayer in Matthew 28. So now the writer of Colossians, he confirms that in verses of scripture that my wife just read. If we look at verses 15 through 18, we're going to see that the writer here is confirming that. And I thank God. I mean, you know, Buddha does not have control. Right? Muhammad don't have control. Hallelujah. It is the Lamb that was slain, Jesus Christ. He has all power and authority. All right? But we're going to look at the throne of God first. The heavenly throne. And look what it says here. We're going to read this again, starting at verse 15. It says that he, who's he talking about, y'all? He's talking about Jesus, is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. It says, for by him all things were created. When we see that word all things now, in the Greek, what he's talking about there, he's talking about universal things. So we know that part of the area of control we're looking at is the earth. But we see here now, he is over the universal things. That's the God we serve. It says, for by him all things were created in heaven that are on earth. And then he goes into visible or invisible. There he is telling you about the spirit world. Hallelujah. And he says, then he goes into thrones or dominions, principalities or powers. What is he talking about there? Ranked demonic forces. The book of Ephesians tells us now in Ephesians that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, rulers, and so forth. What he's telling you now is the army of Satan is organized. They have rankings, the whole nine. And their strategy now is to come against God's creation, you and I. And I don't believe that they even have time to celebrate, because the wickedness is so intensified that when they kill someone in bizarre fashion, they're looking to do, where's the next one? Satan prowls around like a roaring lion. Who can I devour? And they sit back, one after one, arrow after arrow, in the minds of all of us, trying to minimize our ability to trust that our God is in control. Every day we get up, we're in a war. But we already have won the war. Hallelujah. Because we have the Spirit of God, the Spirit of truth, the helper, the comforter inside of us, giving us the ability to walk in victory. Hallelujah. But we see here now, God, he's saying now, this, our God, Jesus Christ, he created all that. He created the enemy. Hallelujah. We thank him. He says, whether things on earth or things in heaven. So we know that he's in control. Can you give me that first picture? It should be the heavens. Y'all see that picture there? This is now the ultimate control center. It doesn't matter what's going on that we can see. It doesn't matter what's going on in the unseen world. This is the control center. And I know this is figurative. This is not literal, but it gives you an idea. Y'all see the cherubim around there? Yes. Well, according to Ezekiel chapter 28, Satan was one of the cherubim. These were the four big angels. I call them the big dogs. Y'all mind if I say that way? But he rebelled against God because he thought he could ascend his throne higher than God's. See, that's why y'all know the Spirit of God will always have his way in his church, because it's not about me. It's not about Minister Windsor, Deacon Jackie, Deacon Higgins. not about regalia. We want to get out of the way of the glory of God because pride has so consumed our pulpits. That's why there's no power in the church. And we don't say now the reason he was kicked out of the heavens was because of pride. And what does he do? He uses pride to limit the churches. I want to declare to you today that I did not die for you. Hallelujah. I did not sacrifice my life for you. I did not bleed for you. It was Jesus Christ and him alone. Hallelujah. He deserves all the glory and all the credit because he is the triumphant King of kings and Lord of lords. Hallelujah. You look around the cherubim, you see the 24 elders. And you see you can't tell, but there's billions upon billions. Talk about a praise service in glory. And I'm here to tell you right now, that is the ultimate control center. It doesn't matter what you see going on in this world, they're in control. It doesn't matter the strategies of darkness, they're in control. It doesn't matter who's in the White House. It doesn't matter what the nutcase is doing over in Korea. It does not matter. Our God is in control. Hallelujah. And he's in control of your situation right now. Matter of fact, somebody ought to just start praising him for what looks impossible. He's got the answer. Hallelujah. I bless his name. He has set me by to ask you, who's in control? Who's in control? Hallelujah. Now, when we talk about the control of the earth, we got to go back to Genesis. Hallelujah. Can you show me that next picture? I got to tell you, my girl Paige is showing off. Thank you. I called her this morning. I don't mind if it's going to go on Facebook. She deserves it. I called her this morning and threw these scriptures at her at like these images at 9 o'clock, and she was able to get them in the PowerPoint. So y'all give her a shout of praise. That's my girl right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine the earth, the will of man, and the spirit world all in one here, okay? We get prepared for communion. As we get prepared for communion, we want to apply in our hearts that our God is in control. He's in control of the lost son, the lost daughter. He's in control of the husband you never had, you've been waiting on. He's in control of the new job, the finances. Our God's in control. So as we walk in the peace of knowing that he's in control, we won't get anxious and get ahead of him and make dumb decisions. Amen. Amen. Just sit back and watch him move. I'm a witness. How many of you have seen God move when you thought there was no way he was going to handle that situation? When you had no control over it, and somehow he made a way out of nowhere. The devil is a what? A liar. He's lying to some of you about your predicament. And who's in control? This is the power of JC's walk. JC walked in the Spirit. He gave God praise in a predicament that I don't know, many of us would have been really in despair, and we're still reaping the benefits from his life. Because he recognized that even though his body was depleted, God was in control. He didn't complain, he didn't murmur. Matter of fact, he said, I'm ready to go home to be with God. That same Spirit is working in us right now. Our brothers in glory, and he's still working in our lives. When you go back to Genesis, we know that God now took 6 days to get the earth prepared for man. He gave Adam dominion. Basically, he handed Adam the title deed to the earth. Did he not? And he said, Adam, now I'm going to put this tree here, and I'm showing you that I'm in control, but I'm giving the control over to you. See, our most dangerous weapon is our will. Yes, it is. Because God has given us The ability to decide. That's a problem. It really is a problem. How many of us, before we met Christ, we made a lot of dumb decisions? Well, some of y'all didn't raise your hand, but I'm going to raise mine. I know some of y'all, y'all handle your business real well. But I know me, I made a whole lot of dumb decisions. The worst thing, the worst weapon I had against me was my will.
Yes.
Doing what I want to do. Some of us, you can leave this church right now and go do whatever you want to do. There's folks doing evil all throughout this world right now. And God sits back and He allows it. He will not come against your will. Why? Because He knows He's the one in control. So while you're doing what you think you're getting away with, at some point in time, you're going to have to step in His office and He's going to show you that even though I gave you control, I'm in control. Hallelujah. I had to learn that the hard way. Now I get said, Mike, shut up, get out the way. Mike, know you're wrong. Sometimes you got to go to the mirror and talk to yourself. What you doing, man? What's wrong with you? Let the Holy Ghost speak to your heart and lead you. Well, our sister was deceived. They did what God said not to do. See, the serpent now, Satan, we won't get into how he got to the earth and possessed the serpent and all of that, but we know that Satan possessed the serpent, right? And he deceived them, and once they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, they took the title deed to the earth and they handed it over to Satan. All right? So now Satan now, and one of the names of Satan is that he is the prince of the power of the air. Okay? Which means now, when Adam and Eve sinned, they handed over the title deed, and basically Satan became the god of this world. And his connection now is to the evil nature of man. He only has control when we give him control. If you don't give him the control, he has no control. If you don't open up the door, he can't come in your house. If you don't open the windows, he can't see through the windows. Hallelujah. Some of us are giving him the control. Some of us are saying things and giving him the control and the authority. He has no foothold in our homes. He's not the one that's got your daughter or son bound. He's doing nothing. The blood of Jesus has control over your son and your daughter. Hallelujah. I thank God. I haven't got no phone calls. I haven't seen a police officer come to my door at 3 in the morning to tell me that your son or your daughter is dead. Hallelujah. Some of y'all complaining because your daughter or your son is not ready to come to church or they acting up, but the blood is still covered. Why? Because he's in control. Hallelujah. Turn around. Satan thought he was in control. But God said, no, through the woman's seed, I'm going to, y'all not hearing me this morning. God spoke to Satan 6,000 years ago and told him what he was going to do. One day is as 1,000 to God, as 1,000 years. And 1,000 years is as one day. Our one day, y'all figure out what y'all going to do in one day. God figures out over 1,000 years. Don't tell me he's not in control. My God is in control. He told Satan, I got a plan already. Hallelujah. You think you're in control, but you're not. Show me that next picture, my dear. Y'all know that, right? You can go to the book of Mark and read about that. All of a sudden now, there's a new sheriff in town. When Jesus was appointed, when he reached that appointed time where it was time for him to step out and do his 3 years of ministry, he went down to the Jordan River. And that scene there, we see the Holy Spirit, right, descending like a dove. He was empowered at that time. I'm declaring war now. I'm declaring war. And what was that war? That